And then on the other card, all eyes on this one, right? Fundora defeating Tszyu, Pitbull Cruz punishing Rolly Romero. Chris, let's begin. Let's rewind a little bit and begin with that card. We did have some interesting action. Molten defeated Cuba. Good fight. Good scrap. Who else did we have? We had a couple fights that were actually free on YouTube. I watched the prelims, quote unquote, on YouTube for free, and then after that you had to pay for the rest. But they did show Boachuk as of course against Brian Mendoza, which was also a good fight. Boachuk looking very very strong. Uh, it all pointed at him possibly getting the winner of Tszyu Fundora. I think with Fundora, I don't think many people believed he was going to win. I don't think PBC believed he was going to win either. They were already talking about Tszyu against Crawford, Tszyu against Spence. You know, they were already lining those up. But once Fundora wins, everything just kind of, all those plans just kind of go out the window. And I think they're just trying to regroup and see what's next. But decent undercard there. Ray Martinez too. I think won a majority. Struggled a little bit, but they put a decent undercard for this first Amazon Prime Video show, Chris.
Yeah, no, like you said, the first show for Amazon Prime, which is no surprise why, they started a little bit early. In my opinion, main event started a little bit early. I got a little late to the arena because I was like, what the heck? Like, Cruz already fighting? Rollies? What's going on? But it's Amazon Prime. They want to, serve their East Coast people as well. First event. Um, I got to ask you, Gio, of course, the big story of the night was that upset by Sebastian Fundora against Tszyu. What were your immediate thoughts when you heard that decision?
It's going straight to the main event, huh? Well,
Let's go, man. Go.
I didn't see Fundora winning. I think obviously the cut was advantage Fundora. Fundora was also bleeding a lot from the mouth, from the nose. You know, that punishment came from punches. You know, the punishment on Tszyu's top of the head came from that accidental elbow. Let's play, man. Forget my thoughts, man. Let's play what Stitch Duran had to say about this. Let's go straight to it, man. Let me see. Are we on the right screen? Yes, we are. All right.
I've been getting all kinds of messages and just finished doing an interview regarding the cut for on Tszyu. Unfortunately, that big vein that we have right there, if you pop it, you're not going to stop it. And he got the cut, it's the same vein. But it's important to have a good corner with you because they should have stopped it before the start of the fifth round. It would have been a no contest. They would have had a chance for a rematch and then protect him. I felt sorry for him. I felt bad that all the techniques that were being used on him were not the proper techniques on how to handle a cut. So I wish Tszyu the best. Same thing happened the night before with this young girl from Costa Rica. She got a bad cut, and the cut man didn't really know what he was doing. And unfortunately, both of them lost fights. So where would they have been if they would have had a proper cut man? I've been getting all kinds of messages and just
There you have it. The go has spoken, man. He was not content about how these cuts happen. I did get some kind of behind the scenes info on Yoka's team about what kind of happened there in the ring, but as I said, we don't talk about stuff that we don't speak about when the mics are on our camera, right? All that stuff will stay behind the scenes. But Stitch Duran, there was an interview, I forget with who, where he kind of goes into detail about what he would have done, what the corner should have done with Tszyu. I think he mentioned that they shouldn't have allowed him to continue. He mentioned that vein, that blood was never going to stop. So, you know, clearly the fight changed when that cut happened. The first two rounds were all Tszyu. I'm like, man, he's going to get a stoppage. Fundora has no answers. Tszyu was already getting his timing down, closing the distance. I'm like, man, it's going to be a short night. Cut happens, everything changes. Fundora decides to box, Chris. We spoke about this last week when you asked what are the chances, what are the odds of Fundora winning. I said, hey, he has about 30% chance. You went a little lower than that, but I said, hey, if he decides to box, he can be like that giraffe fighting the lion, just keeping Tszyu away. He decided to box. I think he was forced to. I think Timmy was hurting him. You saw the bloody nose, the bloody face, and obviously you saw Tim Tszyu's bloody face, I believe it was his whole left side was just covered in blood. It couldn't see the jab. So Fundora took advantage. Um, Obviously, I think most people would agree with me if the cut doesn't happen. Tim Tszyu wins the belts, takes him home, and moves on to a bigger fight. But instead, now you can't blame Fundora. He did what he had to. But hey, look, it's PBC. It's PBC. That's all I'm gonna say. Though he's probably not gonna keep those belts for too long. Same with Pitbull Cruz, but they're gonna keep it in house.
Yeah, no, I definitely that cut was definitely definitely changed the fight. Um, I was thoroughly impressed with Fundora and how he stayed composed, and I feel like because he saw blood, he kept doing that jab. I was one of those people that didn't think he could, sustain, that game plan, that jab out there. I felt like he was gonna revert back to, being an inside fighter, even though I'm sure his team, everybody in attendance, everybody here knew that that was just not the game plan to do. So I was impressed. Like he stuck to the jab, to his reach, and to his length, and then of course that did cause Tszyu problems. Yeah, like you said, Joe, those first two rounds, I think he was landing somewhere upwards of 60% of his shots, hellacious shots, big shots. You kept seeing Fundora's head snap back, but yeah, very unfortunate for Tim Tszyu because you know you don't want to see somebody like him lose that O in that fashion. Again, I like those kinds of warrior kind of fighters that just they keep winning and winning and winning, and it elevates other people. And for him to lose in this fashion, again, nothing against Fundora. It's not his fault. He like you said, he did his job, but just unfortunate. Again, I gotta ask you, Gio, I know a lot of people don't want to stop that fight, but in your opinion, do you feel like it should have been a no contest and just run it back, or just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I was more shocked that they let it continue. When the cut happened, you saw Tim kind of look down because he saw that blood squirting and obviously felt the hit, and then doctor went to the corner. If you remember, right when the third was about to start, they asked Tim Tszyu to go to that neutral corner. Doctor checked it out, and I saw him shaking his head, and we're all like, oh shit, fight's over. No, they were like, "Oh, continue," and then I don't even think they checked on him again. It was crazy. I've never seen that. Uh, but look, it's PBC, man. That's all I'm gonna say. It's PBC. They had a show to run. First, first Amazon Prime Video pay-per-view card. They were not gonna let this go to no contest, no decision, whatever. They were not gonna allow that. The money is more important than that. So hey, if they got to sacrifice Timmy, then that's what's gonna happen, Because look, at the end of the day, they got closer ties to Fundora. So, and as I said, they're gonna keep that belt in house. So I'm not surprised that they did that. But if it's any show here, any local show or any card that's just on a random network on a weekend, they're stopping that fight. There's no way they should have allowed Tim Tszyu to continue. He couldn't see clearly. He even mentioned it after. He's not one to make excuses, so he didn't really speak about it. But I think he was doing an interview with a British gentleman. He was saying, yeah, it was just blurry the whole time. The guy was fighting on instinct, Chris. I don't know how he was landing shots. Because you can, Chris, sometimes when I'm in the shower and there's water in my face, I can't even grab the shampoo. I'm just like, man, where is this shit? There's water in my face. This guy had blood in his eyes for 10 rounds, and it was still a 50-50 fight. As Big Bro said, probably a draw at worst. I still thought he won. He landed about 30, 40 more power punches than Fundora. Fundora landed, I don't know, 60, 70 more jabs. I was able to look at some of the punch stats. Obviously, they're not 100% accurate, but that tells a story. One guy, power punches, one jab, strictly jabbing. And I was very surprised that Fundora didn't really throw many power punches in this fight, Chris. Didn't really throw the left, didn't throw many uppercuts. He was strictly throwing the jab, but I think that's the only chance he had of winning. I think we saw it in the first couple rounds. There's levels to this. Tim Tszyu was at a much higher level than Fundora was boxing wise, and and you saw the troubles that a guy 6'5" was having with a guy what is he, 5'9", but at the end of the day, look, it's boxing, things happen. Mark Magsayo defeated Gary Russell Jr., and Gary had only one hand, it happens. If they fight 10 out of 10 times, obviously Gary Russell is a much better boxer than Mark Magsayo, right? But on that night, he got injured. Magsayo took advantage, and that was that. So things happen in boxing. They're saying there was a verbal agreement for a rematch. We'll see if they honor that. But it's not looking good for Tim, man. I think he got hustled in this one, Chris. He got hustled in this one.
Yeah, for me, when I saw that blood just gushing down, and then I saw the doctor saw it. I really thought that they were going to stop it. I thought they were going to be like, hey, early rounds. He's going to keep his belts because of the no contest rule. I thought that was going to happen, but I'm pretty sure, like you said, Gio, it's the first show for Amazon Prime. I'm sure that there was things said behind the scenes, like, unless something, crazy happens, like, we cannot stop this event. So yeah, and I think they also capitalized on a guy like Tszyu, that it's his first time in Vegas, his first time, in the capital, the fight capital of the world. I think they also took a little advantage of his fighting spirit. They knew that a guy like him would not want to quit. He's gonna, you got to take him out of there for them to stop the fight. So again, it's unfortunate, but it looks like he's gonna have to wait, right, Gio? Errol Spence came in after the fight. Obviously, that fight makes sense money wise. Fundora's promoter, Samson Lekowitz, said that my job is to take care of my fighter when it comes to the business side of boxing. So it looks like that's the fight to make. Of course, there's names out there like Terrence Crawford, but obviously it is not in his benefit to fight somebody like Terrence Crawford, even though he's small. He packs a hell of a punch. So it makes sense for them to take a guy like Errol Spence in Texas. Damaged goods, Errol Spence. But yeah, again, it's unfortunate for Timmy because he is a one warrior.